Dumoulin takes a look. Deflection scores! Letang! Could you script it any better than this?
Pitch it to Najee Harris. Harris sidesteps, gets to the sideline. Najee Harris dives for the pylon. Touchdown, Steelers!
I don't think I expected anything less.
That's unbelievable. It is absolutely incredible.
Welcome to our live Pittsburgh Sportsline show at the BPTV studio right here at the Municipal Building, 5100 West Library Avenue. Thanks for tuning in, watching our shows. We appreciate you on Facebook, but Nick gave me the bad news. It's been finicky for about 8 months now.
Yeah, and now just won't even start.
And
we couldn't even do the council meeting yesterday, so it's not just a Sportsline problem. It's any production we try to do. So I'm going to post the YouTube link to Facebook right now.
Thank you so much, because I thought they were picking on me here at BPTV. Because this has been every week.
No, Bethel Park Council was asking yesterday.
I'm trying to get to 1,000 shows, so I need to be on here.
Yeah, well, we got TV. We'll be here.
Yeah, I see that. I'm looking good in red today, so thank you very much. Can't interact with you on Facebook, so if you're on TV, we're on Verizon 32, Comcast 21, only in the Bethel Park area. We appreciate you watching and tuning in. If you're on YouTube, we appreciate you there. We only got 347, but we're growing a little bit at a time. Maybe I can pay attention, Nick, if he gets me on YouTube so I can interact for the first time.
On the live chat of YouTube, yes.
On YouTube. And we've been doing this for, now how many years have we been live streaming?
Since 2021.
4 years now.
We started in June of 2021, yeah.
It's coming up on that, right around the time when I'm born, Smoking Jim. My birthday's still June 30th. And Nick's been here 5 years. Can you believe that? Unbelievable. We got a lot of stuff going on. I'm Al Levine, the talking machine. Smoking Jim Frazier with the Super Bowl champion hat he got out of a trunk. Chip Hayner back. You know he's our Pirates guy. Nick VIP Callis is here. And we do promos, but I got a special, my neighbor, I know her for 18 years. I've been living where I do on Bethel Church. And she helps dogs, Hearts and Paws Button Pantry. She benefits veterans. Her husband Glenn's a veteran. She always walked dogs, 2 to 3 rescue dogs, walked up to our cemetery, the Presbyterian Church, First Church in Bethel. It's a great walking area. I've walked it for years. We'd always talk before she walked, and then afterwards I'd be on the deck sipping tea. She goes, "You got any extra tea?" I said, "Only for you, Nancy." So she said, "You told me you would help me with a flyer." Well, guess what? The library VFW posts 6664, 5K run and walk. It's a dog walk included this year, Saturday, May 17th. That's Drew's birthday, my son, wow. 9 a.m. Start line VFW Library and Montour Trail. Benefits veterans as well as Hearts and Paws Button Pantry. Only $20, and you can go by the code. We got Chance focusing in on this. Watch how good. Whoop. And support them there. It's a great charity. Look at that shot.
Can I walk my dog?
Smoking Jim, you're not a dog owner. You gave it to some woman who you won't say if she's a friend of yours or relative or a godchild.
Oh, good God.
Well, you can donate $20. I'll give it to Nancy. I'll see her before May 17th walking her dogs. Just drop 20 in the hand, all ones. All right, we're going to our promos in 10 seconds.
My name is Nicholas Callis, and this is the Bethel Park Minute. The Bethel Park regular council meeting is scheduled for Monday, March 10th at 7:30. You can check the calendar on our website for a whole list of upcoming meetings. No Cook Tuesdays start up this week at the Bethel Park Community Center from 4 to 7 p.m. in the playground parking lot. Check Bethel Park Recreation socials for a list of our weekly food trucks. The Bethel Park's Got Talent event scheduled for Saturday has been canceled. Bethel Park Recreation reminds you to check out all of the other great events and programs that they have scheduled. Bethel Park's website offers up a number of opportunities to stay informed with or get involved with. Bethel Park's now hiring for several seasonal positions, including Splash Park employees, summer camp, and public works summer help. Go to the Bethel Park website to get more information and to apply to any of these great opportunities. Go to our recreation programs page to sign up to participate in the spring yard sale, which takes place on Saturday, April the 6th. Businesses can also sign up to participate in the April 26th job fair by filling out the Bethel Park Job Fair employer registration form. Bethel Park also has posted a list of local fish fries operating during Lent. And you can fill out the Allegheny County Risk Assessment Survey featured in the Bethel Park News section on the homepage. My name is Nicholas Callis, and this has been the Bethel Park Minute.
Pittsburgh Sportsline supports the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette Strikers. I worked there for 36 years. My former union, CWA PPMWS 14842, Pittsburgh Local Mailers Union number 22, is on strike. Even though health care benefits were secured for workers by the union, Post-Gazette management cut them out without the union's approval and still expected workers to show up without any coverage. Please cancel your Post-Gazette subscriptions online or in print. Pittsburgh Sportsline supports the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette Union Strikers. Frank Fanera, owner of Olive Oil's Pizzeria and the Hillcrest Shopping Center on Route 88. Call them at 412-831-1900. Every Tuesday night, Olive Oil's Pizzeria provides the host and the amazing volunteer crew with an XL pepperoni pizza and a full steak hoagie. They are delicious. Olive Oils is proud to support Pittsburgh Sportsline and the volunteers at BPTV. Stay Joey strong. Joey Fabus died at 8 years old of brain cancer known as DIPG. Since then, the family has come together with community members to create the Joey Fabus Childhood Cancer Foundation, a 501c3 nonprofit. Since being founded, they've raised over $100,000. Go to jfccf.org to learn more about DIPG, to help spread awareness, and to see how else you can support and donate towards the fight against this dreaded brain cancer. Always Be Smiling, a 501c3 designed to help children and families in need of kidney transplants. The B stands for Bennett, whose memory is embedded in this organization by his parents, Kristen and Dean. Despite the challenges he faced in his 16 and a half years of life, Bennett always had a smile on his face and spread kindness to everyone he could. Now, Always Be Smiling wants to pass on that kindness. Go to alwaysbesmiling.org to learn more and see how you can support or donate to this organization. The Bethel Park Community Foundation has money for you. I'm Al Levine, trustee on the board of this great organization. The BPCF focuses on raising money to provide scholarships, grants, endowments, and more. Grant requests are available online from $100 to $5,000. You can also attend fundraisers or donate. Go to bpcf.org to get more information and to stay up to date on upcoming events. The Bethel Park Community Foundation, focusing community resources, building for the future. The Bethel Park Historical Society is a 501c3 that serves Bethel Park. The Historical Society operates out of the Schoolhouse Arts and History Center, located at 2600 South Park Road. Look for the red and white trolley right out front. Reginald's Coffee is inside, and I've heard it's the best coffee around. To visit this great historical venue, email historicalsocietybp@gmail.com. Hey, thanks for watching our promos. Don't forget that Hearts and Paws and that dog walk. Please help my neighbor out, and a lot of veterans and rescuing dogs. She got a couple rescue dogs. All right, we got to go to Smoking Jim. What's on your mind, Smoking Jim Frazier?
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And if you want the green,
I heart fast
you
one.
got to see Levine. Hey, Al Levine, the talking machine. I'm proud of my VIP of BPTV because he's playing in a celebrity baseball game. Would you like me to pinch hit for you?
Yeah.
Hey, Al Levine, the talking machine.
I work out every week.
Hey, Chance, these guys are always talking about, Vinny, that the hardest thing in sports to do is hit a baseball. But I sure see a lot of people doing it. And Al Levine, the talking machine, if a catcher can catch every ball, I can hit every ball. Al Levine, the talking machine. I'm pinch hitting for Nikki.
Hold it. First of all, Smoking Jim only learned about baseball when he joined the show.
I was a slugger.
October 11th, 2011, he didn't know baseball. And I told him I was a pitcher, and he said he was Vita Blue. Vita Blue's a left-hander. He's a right-hander. He said he went 7 for 8, and he didn't know that he could have been 8 for 8. Guess what?
Yeah.
I pitched every time, and if I got 3 hits out of 10, I was doing great. We have Hall of Famers that do 3 hits out of 10. You know what that means?
That means that nobody.
No, they fail. They fail 70% of the
What happened
time.
when somebody ran the 4-minute mile? Everybody, high school guys do it now.
They didn't hit a baseball, though.
Yeah,
Guess how many
it could be
baseballs
done.
they hit?
It could be done.
Hold it. How many baseballs did the 4-minute miler beat?
Not too many.
None.
Al Levine.
No, pick me. I want to go now.
Oh, hands up here.
It's pick on Smoking.
I work out every Monday, and I'll make adjustments if you'd like to come out at any time when the weather's nice, because, it's always sunny in Monroeville, too. I'm sure you got plenty of fields out in Monroeville that we could play at. You and I could have a practice together, sure.
Sounds good. Now I want to slow up Chipper.
That won't happen.
Al Levine,
That won't
the
happen.
talking machine.
Yeah.
I always say this. It's not what you do, it's what you have to redo. The Pittsburgh Steelers had a running back that gained 1,000 yards every year. They got rid of him. Now they got to draft another running back. The Pittsburgh Steelers had one of the best left tackles in football history, according to $82 million, $50 million guaranteed. But for 2 years in a row, they drafted a left tackle to take his spot they already had. They had to redo. Now I'm hearing that the Pittsburgh Steelers is taking every position, every quarterback available other than Colin Kaepernick, to replace. Listen, you drafted a quarterback in the first round, which you said he wasn't going to be good, Kenny Pickett.
Thank you.
Now the Pittsburgh Steelers still haven't got it right since. It's not what you do, it's what you have to redo. I said last year there's a white cornerback that can play 13 different positions. The Pittsburgh Steelers
And he can shoot basketballs.
And he can shoot basketballs. 1,800 points in high school, second most in his state history. Al Levine, the talking machine. Since they didn't draft
Hey, you're
him,
supposed to talk to them.
they had to redo. They picked up Darius Slade. Al Levine, the talking machine.
cornerback.
They backstabbed me on Jordan Addison, 17 touchdowns in 2 years. Now you have got to bring in a receiver for 5 years, $150 million. Al Levine, it's not what you do, it's what you have to redo, and that's what the Pittsburgh Steelers got to learn. Hands up over here, guy in red shirt.
First of all, Smoking Jim's been supporting Open Door more.
Thank you. Give me a pat
the
on
whole
the back
time,
for that.
and he let more sacks and more times that a quarterback get hit than anybody. And he said he was an All-Pro, never made it. And the only thing I know is I was a good judge of a left tackle talent in Pittsburgh because the Tennessee Titans signed him for only $82 million.
Wow.
And they like the film from Pittsburgh.
Yes.
And then who's the other 2 guards that got 30 and 40 million when they couldn't play here?
Yeah.
So we must be like a training ground or a minor leagues for football. If you get linemen that are getting 30, 40, and now 82 million. I'll tell you what, I'm happy for Dan Moore being a hard worker because this is one time for all of you young puppies and young lady here, work hard, maybe you could make half of the $82 million. So we're going to go to Chip Hayner. 3 weeks in a row for the Chipper. He's on a streak.
I'm telling you.
What's on your mind, including the Pirates?
Oh, well, not much going on. It's still spring training.
Oh, there's something going on with the Pirates. Well, there's a big story that came out this
ding,
week.
ding.
There's a big story. Yeah.
Ding, ding. All right.
Okay.
Give him a minute.
Okay, so what's on my mind is the state of pitching in Major League Baseball, just in general. And I've been reading a lot about this subject and about the emphasis that's being put on throwing pitches with maximum velocity and maximum spin, and the fact that starting pitchers can't make it out of the fourth inning, and that I saw all kinds of interesting statistics and articles I was reading today about the number of pitchers that don't even make it to 100 pitches before they're pulled. So I was reading some comments made by Max Scherzer, who's a all-star pitcher.
Future Hall of Famer.
Washington Nationals. He pitched for the Texas Rangers. And right now he's pitching for the Toronto Blue Jays. And I kind of liked his suggestion of a rule change that he'd like to see implemented. And they say that Major League Baseball has a pitching problem. And Max Scherzer claims he knows how to fix it. And does he? Doesn't he? I don't know. I read this article and I was like, with some of the rule changes that I've seen, I don't think this one would be a bad idea to try.
Lay it on us.
Penalize teams for taking their starter out early. It's a concept that that Scherzer says he calls it the qualified starter. He has upgraded his original suggestions. If you go 6 innings, throw 100 pitches, or give up 4 runs, Scherzer says, you achieve any of these 3, you become qualified. Okay? A team is penalized if it pulls its starter before one of those thresholds is reached. Who last year suggested it was 5 pitches and 5 innings and 90 pitches. He believes new rules are the only way to fix what's going on. Once you're qualified, all right, okay, the DH gets to stay in for the rest of the game. Scherzer says if you're unqualified, the DH has got to come out. Okay, so if that's not enough, make the analysis upstairs, keep the starter in the game. Let's talk about maybe there's a free substitution, something along that line, the way you can pinch hit or pinch run for somebody. And if that's not enough, let's go to extra innings. You get the base runner on second base if your starter is qualified. If your starter is not qualified, you do not get the runner on second base to start the extra innings, which I am not a fan of. So what the idea behind this rule, I know it sounds pretty, like, no, that's stupid, that wouldn't work. It would force the training of pitchers and the development of pitchers to teach them how to pitch longer into games instead of throwing their arms out, because the number of Tommy John surgeries has gone up by over 170% over the last 5 years. Wow. So what this would do is it would make pitchers more valuable, because then you would be able to last longer into games. Subsequently, this would bump production in games or offense in games, because if the pitchers are staying in longer and they're not throwing, because the statistics I read that players' batting averages go down as the pitch speed goes up. So if the pitchers are not being forced to throw 100 miles an hour and doing things that their arms were not designed to do, then you're going to see more balls hit and put into play, which would increase the offensive output in games, put more runners on base, make the game more exciting. And if you think about this, and I've, like I said, I read quite a number of articles.
You've blown his mind.
It's an interesting concept,
and
I think it's something should be given consideration. That's what's on my mind.
Wow. Are you saying you endorse rule changes in baseball to promote its evolution?
Correct.
This is unreal.
This is
unreal. When the days come.
Nicholas, because the way the rule changes have changed the game, I don't think that all of the rule changes have changed the game for the better.
Oh, what? What do you mean? Why are you supporting this?
No, I'm saying I think it's something. I think in concept.
Do you think that more rule changes will somehow negate some of the rule changes before to make the game more exciting?
Yes, I do.
So rule changes make the game more exciting.
They could.
What is the point you're trying to make?
Well, before you were making fun of me 4 years ago.
Yeah,
Well, Nick, we can't have a DH. We can't have a universal
Nicholas,
DH.
let me just share one thing with you. I'm always going to make fun of you for whatever reason. I mean, it doesn't mean it doesn't have to be 4 years ago. I love you. You're my friend, and I'm going to tease you. And you can bust my chops too, because I gotta take it if I give it.
What's happening with the Pirates? You said you got news.
Oh, yeah, keep Brian Hayes' back starting to hurt again.
Oh, yeah.
Well, did it ever heal up?
That's great. I mean, for all the story
See,
my back's feeling great. First day is
he's got more joy out of that than any other
I know, but you're saying nothing's going on with the Pirates. That's not true.
No,
There is something going on with the Pirates.
Yeah, but that's not like the end of the
we
world.
We got a comment
they've
on
still
YouTube. I thank you, MFRSIG83. I like the pitcher rule. The union would nix it. It would allow teams to justify paying pitchers less money.
Well,
Great point. Thanks for that.
I'm just thinking, why would teams be like? Why would owners be incentivized to make that happen? Like, does it necessarily make the game more interesting? Not necessarily.
Well,
it
is
saves
there a way
money.
to keep the system? Maybe.
It
Why
saves
would owners want
money.
to?
They'll save money.
They wouldn't save money by
they need less pitchers then.
Yeah,
in
but like
theory.
if I'm an owner, like why would I want to worry about like preserving the arms of pitchers when I could just like draft another one over time and like throw that guy's arm out? They're like becoming the running backs of Major League Baseball. Like who cares?
Yeah.
Like Garrett Cole got all he could have out of Pittsburgh. Now he's on the Yankees and he's done kind of well there, but now he's having Tommy John surgery. So
yeah.
it's like,
but he got $330 million out of it.
right, but the Yankees
And he isn't going to pitch.
That's what I'm saying. But if you're
good work if you can get it.
If you're a team, I'm saying if you're a team like the Pirates where you're not going to spend that much money on a pitcher, then you're going to draft a guy like Paul Skeens and use him to his maximum effectiveness not worry about his health after
4 years.
Yeah,
5 years in total.
But if we're using him for his maximum effectiveness, he's got to be able to pitch past the fourth or fifth inning. There's got to be incentives to make pitchers pitch further into games. That's my point.
No, I mean
Ding ding.
No, I'm saying you overuse him and you have him pitch and tax him throughout these games, and whether he gets taken out after the fourth inning, like you don't, like owners don't care about that. Is what I'm saying. Like that doesn't matter. Whether he can make it through a full game, whether he make it through four innings, it's like
just to interrupt. We talked a little bit last week about you pitching too much and your arm was dead.
Right.
And I told you I practiced 5 days a week and was stronger.
Sure.
And still pitching until 18 years old. Now it goes back. We were always taught the more you threw, the stronger you got.
Right.
We didn't know what spin count was. We knew how to throw a curve and a splitter.
Well, I also didn't professionally take care of my arm either. So I mean, I do.
You made that point. Yeah,
Alan, to speak to your point, the point is that's being made is the way the pitchers are being taught from high school on up.
Right.
Is that they need to throw the ball as fast as humanly possible on every single pitch and get a maximum spin rate, which is doing unnatural things to people's arms, and it's shortening their careers, shortening their effectiveness.
I understand it. I would tweak that to experiment in the minor leagues, make it 5 innings.
Faster than I would robo-umps.
Yeah, but I'd make it 5 innings instead of 6, and I'd keep it at 100 pitches.
Well, like I said, it's created.
I would tweak
it's created an interesting conversation here, and I think it's something that could be looked at. Because I know, in theory, that's just the broad brushstrokes, but you need to work on the fine details and see if that is something that could be made to work. I think it would be worth researching.
Only the strong survive. If their arm falls off, there's 100 other pitchers you can get.
I agree with that, and I just think that I don't think that you're necessarily going to develop differently, because even if you can't last longer, like I'm still going to try to, even if I could squeeze out 1 year, if I'm a prospect, like of throwing as hard as I possibly can still, because you want to separate yourself from the millions of other prospects that want to play Major League Baseball. Well, like there's got to be something that separates you, so you have to give max effort.
But there's some differences to it, like the shape. We didn't have the training and the eating that you guys have now.
Right, and kids are growing up faster just in general because all the new information, they want to develop kids like sooner and sooner and sooner. And it's rough. I don't think you're, just by a rule change like that, like you're not going to change fundamental developments of like players now.
Well, and like I said, it's something that can be looked. But see, and I get criticized for this all the time. But you see these flamethrowers that are up there throwing as fast and as hard as they can, and then I see pitchers like, okay, I'll give you two examples of pitchers. One was a power pitcher, Roger Clemens, and and he had longevity of career. The other one that I think is one of the best pitchers that I've seen in my lifetime is Greg Maddux.
Yeah.
And here's a guy. He had pinpoint accuracy, could change speeds. His location was as good as it got.
Really
and he had
final 6 years of his career,
the mental aptitude
Age
to play the
stops
chess
everything.
game with a batter and outthink them. And I think if we saw more pitchers like that, I think that makes the game better. But that's my humble opinion.
Well, here's the thing. When you do 162 games, there's so many more variables, and you talk about how hard is it to play 162 games unless you're smoking Jim as an everyday player? How hard is it for a pitcher to pitch every 5 days?
So
there's 30 times they're pitching. You got to be in shape and actually.
The thing that got me looking into this
Yeah.
was they're saying that we're probably in our lifetimes we're probably not going to see another 300 game winner. Okay, and the question
smoking Jim's lived for
wait the
200
question
years.
got brought up is I doubt very highly that we're going to see another 200 game winner.
Yeah.
Okay, because the careers just aren't that long.
What's Garrett Cole have?
134, and he's like, and
12 years.
and he's 34 years old.
Right.
So I mean, he's going to win 70 games in the next 6 years, and he's not pitching for another year at least.
See, but that's the kind of stat too that I look at, and I'm like, why does that matter? Like, that's one of those stats that like you shouldn't care about as much. Like, why does a guy get to so many 100 wins, or why does a complete game matter so much? Like, baseball's evolved so much to this point that like I don't care. Like, it's a team game, and hitters have become more patient over time. Umpires have gotten better over time, which is why...
And hitters have gotten worse over time.
No.
Yes, they have.
No. Players have gotten more patient over time because you've got a more accurate strike zone called. Umpires have been getting better over time.
So 200 strikeouts a season is more patient?
Well, obviously...
Well, hold on. We could argue all this stuff. We're talking generalities.
Obviously, power is more prioritized now. That's more of the evolution of the game, though.
That's the key comment.
Which I'm saying, don't care about that either, because you've got a lot of power guys out there, too, that make the game more exciting about how they play offense. You've got more run production these days. I brought a whole list here 3 years ago where I told you, okay, averages are down, but, like, run production is up. So it's the evolution of the game. So, again, don't really care about strikeouts necessarily because you've got tangible evidence that supports more run production while also...
And how much more productive would it be if batting averages went up, more runners got on base, which would subsequently lead to more runs being scored, not via the home run?
If you hit a single, is a run guaranteed to score on that hit?
If there's a runner on second and third.
No.
Well, no.
Every play a single hit.
Time out. We could argue these points.
No, you get my point, though.
Do you get mine?
If a single's hit, there's not always a guarantee on any given play that a run's going to score. A home run's hit, there's a guarantee that at least one run is going to score.
One run scores. But
that's what I'm saying. So
when a single can score 2 runs, it's a much more valuable hit than a one-run homer.
Home run score 3 then, Chip. Come on, run production.
Right, but wait a minute. You're talking about a one-run home run, and you're talking about not scoring on a single. You're changing your story.
I'm saying on any play, there is a possibility where a single's hit, no runs could score. Because if nobody's on base, a single doesn't score a run. On a home run, at least one run is scored on every one of those plays. That's my point. So if there's a more
if that same batter strikes out 4 times in a game, how many runs score?
What if he doesn't? What if the guy gets hot and he hits 3 home runs in a game and drives in 9 runs?
How often does it happen?
Well,
I showed you evidence over time. I brought this in. I'll bring it in again next week. Run production is up. Averages are down. Strikeouts
won't be
are up.
here next
but
week.
Team run, it's tough. 2 weeks. Team run production over the years has gone up. That is a tangible fact.
I will have to research that.
All right, we'll continue this. We did pitching 2 weeks.
Here we go.
We got 2 weeks of pitching in. I appreciate that. I'm actually interested in the Scherzer plan if they make it 5 innings. Whether it changes the game, I don't know, but it would change the mindset on coaches and players.
Sure. I mean, it's interesting. It's just like
well, the thing is,
you got to consider some of the
look, why do people drink Gatorade? Why did we even get
like a lot
limited
of
on
sugar and
water?
salt.
I'm just saying, look what happened
Who's on
years
first?
ago. We weren't allowed to drink water on a football field.
Right.
Now,
that's nuts.
now I'm hooked a water bottle every day and get my hydration. So how did we live? So things are possible.
You know, when I was growing up, actually, there was too much hydration going on, so they had to find another balance. Like,
No
you're only
way.
supposed to drink so much when you're thirsty, and you're not supposed to pre-drink water because you can actually gain weight from
Well,
drinking water and running.
since we're talking water, I learned when they based it on how much water you should have, they included water and fruit, which provided most of your water in your day. You can look it up, Google it. That's how crazy we got with breaking things down. So with your argument, you each got pieces that make sense. One run, one hit for the home run, yes. 2 hits, 1 single, possible run. Now, if you have more hits, in theory, you would have a higher average.
Right.
So those things could all correlate. Then throw in that the girls like the long ball. And we're going to move on. We're going to move on to Nick Callis. What's on your mind?
All right, so
Take a deep breath and we'll go.
yeah, we're good. So keep Brian Hayes is hurt. That's not great. I mean, he's still now back issues are flaring up, so we don't love to see
It was
that.
his side.
Yeah,
for Blake's.
so again,
It's not back.
Chronic back issues. He's got something going on that's not good. It's probably something that stems from the issues that he's had. His torso's not working right. I guess we could all meet in the middle. Something's wrong with him, and there's something that seems to continually go wrong with him, which is
Quoted,
not
ask
great.
Smoke and Jim what he calls players like that.
Brittle Brothers?
Ah, yes. Is that right? Yeah.
He coined it many, many moons ago.
So I mean, I'm just like again.
Check the film.
I've been talking about this for a while. I'm going to say it again. Hype is like it's not getting to me here. Like it's not great.
You're not drinking the Kool-Aid.
Not drinking the Kool-Aid, and I was trying to drink it a
drinking
little bit,
water.
but I'm trying to stay realistic as well. Speaking of Max Scherzer, the Pirates could have had him for $15 million. That's what the Toronto Blue Jays paid for him, and they didn't. So who knows? I mean, does Max Scherzer still have enough left? Maybe. I don't know. That's a side point. That's just something that came to my head.
Good side point.
Yeah, the Steelers are doing a lot. Our guy Dave Cable, big boss here, was talking to me, and he said, "Nick, you've got some inside connections." Like, what? What is going on? What is going on with the Steelers? And I actually have absolutely no idea what is going on with the Steelers at this point. They are.
No, neither does anybody else.
It's just like, here's the thing. What I think, and I've got so many opinions, and I wanted to save them for VIP, but like we
Okay,
can't
tease us with a couple.
because we only got so much time. So I mean, this is just everything that I'm thinking about. Is just
27 minutes.
It's
You
coming
can
to my
carry
mind,
on.
which is
You got an extra couple.
no, we got to save time for everybody else. But Kenny Pickett's going to be a Cleveland Brown. That's awesome, and he may very well start for the Cleveland Browns. That's very interesting. Just a former Steeler thing going on. Najee Harris to the Los Angeles Chargers. Good for him. Dan Moore Jr.
$9.25 million.
Dan Moore Jr. got overpaid a lot.
82
And,
million.
yeah, $50 million guaranteed. So there's that. Don't like that, but good for the Tennessee Titans. I just saw a story that Mason Rudolph may be relinked to the Steelers. There's a bunch of quarterbacks linked to the Steelers as well. Russell Wilson may come back. Aaron Rodgers was supposed to sign today at the earliest and has not. Holy cow, DeAndre Hopkins just got signed. All right, very good. Anyway, a lot going on. Like I can't.
D-Hop.
This is like the first time I think I've sat on this show and tried to talk about something, and I just can't because there's so many moves that have happened. They just got that linebacker from the Baltimore Ravens as well, and I can't remember his name, but I keep thinking that's
Harrison,
Malik.
255 pounds, 6'3".
And it just reminded me of the Patrick Queen deal.
Thanks,
Like,
man.
we're getting another veteran guy in there. So what this tells me, what all these moves tell me, is that the Steelers are totally fine letting go of certain players and not overspending, but then they get guys like TK Metcalf, and they don't want to fold. They want to compete every year. And you really can't. Like, it's not possible. I don't think what they're doing is sustainable. Like, there's no clear direction, but the clear message is we don't want to lose. We're interesting. We're going to stay competitive. And I'm not falling for it this time. I'm not doing it. Mark my words. I fell for it last year. Not doing it again. We are going to stay away from the Steelers' Kool-Aid this offseason. I don't care who they get, because last season they got a bunch of guys, and then they still didn't win a playoff game. So we need to win that playoff game in order for me to have any sort of support. So I don't care. I'll say, like, I'm kind of interested, but overall don't care. Like, I don't. These things don't make me necessarily overly joyed. They don't make me feel any type of way, because the only thing I keep thinking to myself is, do any of these moves that they're going to make, and I don't even know who's going to play quarterback yet. We're really not sure. Like, nobody's sure. So many reports out there, it's nuts. How many other teams in the AFC are better than the Pittsburgh Steelers right now? And even if they get a quarterback, how many other teams are still better than the Pittsburgh Steelers? Al says 9. And guess what that means? The Steelers are still going to at least be the 10th best team in the conference and maybe like the 16th best team in the entire league. Smoking Jim says 0, and that's...
I say 0 right now, because you know what? Every team in the AFC right now is 0-0.
Listen, Chip. Listen. The Pirates are 0-0. The NFL teams...
He enjoys that.
Whatever.
Nick, you just carry on.
I know he enjoys it. It's fun. I don't care. Here's the point.
You're making good points. Carry on.
They're not structured to sustain winning, and that's my point. That's a valid talking point. They're not structured to win games right now better than the best in the conference. That's my whole point. And so that's what I'm looking at this, and I guess I'm trying to convince you, like, don't settle for the excitement of the offseason again. And I guess to Chip's point, congrats, wait till the season starts and just see what happens. I don't forecast anything different from last year to this year in terms of wins. I think they would finish with like about 10 wins again.
Hold it. Will the streak continue? Because that's all we care about.
I sure hope
in
not.
Pittsburgh.
But it probably is.
18 years.
And all I'm thinking about, too, is the Penguins did a very similar thing where
they
were really good and they were championship winners, and then they lost in the first round of the playoffs, and then lost in the first round of the playoffs, and lost, and then they missed the playoffs 2 consecutive seasons. They're on their way to a 3rd consecutive loss. The Steelers are kind of at the same formula right now, where they haven't really developed anybody young, and that's not helping them. And so they've missed a few playoff appearances, but they've lost in the first round 8 straight seasons. There's going to come a point where this crashes. You'd rather them want to be prepared for the crash, or actually intentionally do a tank and prepare for a rebuild.
Officially.
They're not tanking right now.
Well,
this ain't a tank. You don't sign a receiver for 5 years, $150 million in tank.
Well,
in his prime, no way.
They practice. The Penguins are similar. They saw what Roethlisberger did. He was getting old. Father Time beats everybody, so they never had a replacement for him officially.
And then Kenny Pickett got drafted.
And I was the only one in media that said he had his best career in college, wouldn't translate to the pros because he couldn't see the middle of the field.
Yeah, but if you truly reflect on his career, he was great in the 4th quarter.
Well,
Comebacks galore.
He also had a coach hands-on called Whipple. He came over after every play. Do you know how focused you are when your coach is on you every play?
And then Matt Canada was his coach.
And he wasn't on him at all.
So what
he was up in the booth.
Whoever's his coach telling him, don't squeeze the Strowman?
Maybe. No, that's a good...
Do you remember where we were, though, when that was just giant news 2 years ago that Matt Canada was actually on the field?
Yeah.
Look how far we've evolved. Sure. I mean, it's been...
No, we have. You make some good points. And what I want to clarify, at 68 years old, I'm going to get on what's on my mind after that, but you become somewhat jaded, which you are right now, and you're in the media, so you're bombarded with 10 times the info that we are.
I have a headache.
Yeah, I understand. So you're letting it out. We appreciate what you're going through, but I've lived through it with the Pirates since 1979. And with
they also have no clear direction, but they haven't won anything.
And the Steelers since 2009, and the Penguins had a great streak. It was like, 18 years of being in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And now the last 2 years they haven't. And there's only one reason in my book why it happened. You kept 3 players so you could say you did that, and you couldn't have other players to help them. They've actually been close to their averages, and Sidney Crosby's, he's a legend. He's in the top 3, 4, 5 players in hockey. He's maintained it, but what do we have supporting him?
Yeah, Erik Karlsson forgot to be a defenseman. The goaltending's terrible.
He was a good player there because he was the only scorer.
Right, but you don't need scorers at that point. You need better defensemen.
And he doesn't.
And that trickles to how the goalies were performing.
Well, goalie's the key thing. If
And
you don't
Tristan
have a
Jarry
good
getting
goalie-
5 years was also terrible.
And
the Penguins were trying to pretend too. They're like, "Oh, we'll be fine. We'll figure it out."
Well, as I've been telling people doing my sports show, they go, "What's it about?" I go, "We don't drink Kool-Aid, and every one of our teams sucks." And the media pumps us up each year, and I'm optimistic every year, and I'm disappointed too that I see some bright lights, Chip, with the Pirates last 2 years. So I'm hopeful. With the Steelers, I'll get into my diatribe on that in a minute, but close out with what you need to. You're doing well with it.
No,
I
that's it.
understand.
It's just there's a lot going on, and it's just a lot to digest. But I guess that is the message. Is like don't necessarily fall for the Kool-Aid here, so to speak.
Yes.
Don't drink the Kool-Aid.
No, it makes it simple. We understand it.
Yeah, stay balanced as you watch the offseason. The Steelers could win the offseason, but it's already been proven that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to win games during the regular
I like
season.
the balanced comment.
Yes.
Not too high, not too low, and definitely don't listen to the guy in the Eagles hat. All right. What's on your mind, Al? These guys covered about everything, and I just wanted to make it that people go, "What do you think of the draft, Al?" I go, "I don't pay attention to it because what I want to see is who we draft, and we'll talk about that." They go, "Don't you follow it at all?" I go, with media, I'm bombarded with ESPN, Mel Kiper, who's never been right on more than 10% of his picks. And he created a legendary career, multimillionaire. I salute him. Dan Moore couldn't really block as a left tackle. Broderick Jones, who was a left tackle, they put him at right tackle, and he wasn't a good left tackle. I'm glad he's coming back to left tackle. So look at what happened. We've had players here go and become 30, 40, 50, $80 million players. And what were we talking about? I talk bad about Dan Moore every week because I did something called the eye test. What are you doing out there? And you see that. We had guards that were actually blocking, but they said they sucked. And they signed for, I forget their names, but $30 and $40 million.
Dotson was one.
So that means
Yeah.
that the Steelers are doing a great job at developing talent for
Exactly.
other teams.
That's my point. So that's why when people go, "Who do you like in the draft?" I go, "Whoever we get." And then they tell me, "You got to see this player, that player. This one's great. This one ran a 4.21. I go, "What's he doing in pads with somebody chasing him?" They go, "Look at this kicker. He can kick 65 yards. I go, "Is he doing it in a game when they're coming at him and a guy could fumble a ball or misplace a ball?"
Is he doing it when it's 35 degrees and the wind's blowing 30 miles an hour?
Exactly. And then look, you got guys at Boise State and all that, and they're doing this great runner and all that. And then who they play. Now, he might be a great running back and he has great speed, but isn't everybody in the NFL the best players in the country?
I may interrupt
Yeah,
for a
go ahead.
second.
I'm on a roll.
This is a scout right here, okay? And I'm going to ask your
No,
opinion.
he's a journalist.
And he's my friend, too.
Whoa.
But here's the question I want to ask you, okay? We just had the combine done, okay? What is more of a measure of a man's ability to play the game of football, what you see at the combine or what you see on film from games?
On film.
Thank you.
How many films you watch a day?
2 college football games every
All right,
day,
so he knows
365
football.
So you know, like
Now, why would I do that?
people get wrapped up into the combine saying, "Oh, this is a guy. He look how high he can jump. Look how far he can."
How about
you know.
225?
Yeah, but you know what? I want to know, can he
225.
play football? You know.
Well,
Because-
that's
Does
what
anyone
we-
really get wrapped up in the combine anymore? I mean, who
Yeah,
actually?
it's big.
Oh, the NFL, the NFL Network had it on 24/7.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, because what else are they going to put on this season? They're going to put on a game? No.
Combine's
no.
huge.
They
Combine's
can put UFL practice on.
No.
They could put Pat McAfee on talking to Aaron Rodgers.
Well, he works for ESPN, not the NFL. So that's the problem. So there you go.
No,
So
and that's why with
they just put it on, I think, because it's the only thing they can put on.
Well,
Like,
yeah,
they want
it's
people to be
huge.
interested.
It's
I think
huge.
it's a huge event, but I feel like people aren't as interested generally anymore. Like I feel like
I don't pay
interest
any
has gone.
attention to it.
Exactly.
Well-
I don't think people pay as closely attention to it.
They
They
do.
just have it on TV
They
because
They really do.
you think so?
well, you
I know
and
so.
Chip, you and Chip are in my clubhouse because I don't pay.
I
That
think the
much
general
attention.
fan interest has just gone down over the years. It's just guys running around in shorts. I agree. It's just there's nothing.
Well, football just keeps getting more and more popular.
That doesn't mean the combine's popular.
It's very.
Well, he's going down a rabbit hole, so
Yeah.
just ignore him right now.
Why are you wearing an Eagles hat? That is a good question.
It was free.
I mean,
Well, because they win.
Marco and Mikey will tell you,
Hold it. They're in the control room. They
I don't
aren't
look
telling you
for my
anything.
hats. I just grab one at random. I just happened to grab a world championship one today.
How about grabbing a Pittsburgh Sportsline polo someday? There's 6 X's. Wear one once in a while and do the wash.
I don't remember the last time you wore a polo. Why are you wearing a sweatshirt
Yeah.
today, too? It's warm.
You know what? It was 72 degrees. I was going to take a picture in my car, and I was going to say, Smoking Jim will dress like a hood. He's running in the hood from the cops. My ending thing here is, how does an NFL team, one of the 32 legendary teams in the sport, not have a quarterback before the draft?
Good point.
And I got to end that. We're going to go with, it's fiction and fact, right? With these diatribes here, we go crazy here. Thank you for listening. We're glad we can entertain you.
We're sparking conversation,
we're
which
going
is
deep.
which is good stuff.
And if you can see, rarely do we agree. So we'll just move on with that. And speaking of not agreeing, let's hear Fiction and Fact from Smokin' Jim's Almanac. Come on.
Hey, thanks, Vinny. Thanks, Al Levine, the talking
Oh, you're
machine.
welcome. You're welcome.
Rest in peace, my man, Craig Wolf.
That's a very sad day, yeah.
And the sad part is we know he ain't coming back. But if
He's
anybody-
reunited with Tunch.
But if anybody lived their life the way they should live, it was Wolfley. I mean, I've never seen him, and I spent a lot of time with him over the years. I've never seen him have a bad day. I've never seen him not smile. I've never seen him not enthusiastic. They say you don't want to rust out, you want to wear out. He must have wore out. Al Levine,
He was
talking machine,
66, Smoking Jim. He made it to 66.
and that is that should be commendable. Al Levine, the talking machine. This guy was so far ahead of his time. This guy was one of the strongest in the weight room in the NFL. He was a boxer, a mixed martial artist. He did a whole lot of different things. But this is a guy who teamed up. I always talk about chemistry. It's very
I haven't
important
heard the
in
last
sports.
time you did, yeah.
Chemistry is so important, and that's why the Penguins got cursed when they backstabbed Marc-Andre Fleury.
False.
Tunchilkin was horrible when he came to Pittsburgh. He got cut so many times his rookie year, I'm surprised he didn't bleed to death. He came here as
He had a
center.
tourniquet on.
He came here as a center, offensive center, couldn't play center, couldn't play guard. They bounced him out to tackle, but because of the chemistry of him and Wolfley worked with him, got him a little stronger in the weight room, and Tunchilkin always was a technician. And then it went full circle because as Wolfley's career elevated, for some reason, they moved him from an all-pro guard to tackle. He never played tackle before, so Tunch took him under his wing and taught him the techniques of being the offensive tackle.
I didn't know that.
tackle.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Smoking.
And so chemistry is so important, Al Levine, the talking machine. And don't forget Wolfpack Boxing. They earned
I didn't forget.
Wolfley, the only time I ever seen Craig Wolfley do something mean, Wolfpack Boxing was very popular. His wife, Faith, was an outstanding trainer. And Wolfley was a trainer, too. Brother, he was like Sonny Liston. You spar with him, he was going to knock you out. I'm like, I used to tell people, don't get in there with Wolfley. He don't know how to pull no punches, brother. That's the only time his mean streak would come out.
Wow.
And he had a heck of a right hand, brother.
Did he?
He had a heck of a right hand. And a lot of people that sparred with him didn't spar with him again. But rest in peace, Craig Wolfley. You will be missed.
You know, interestingly enough, you mentioned Tunch, and Tunch went to Indiana State.
Yeah.
And he was at Indiana State when Larry Bird was playing there. And as a matter of fact, there's a Sports Illustrated cover
With his
where
wife.
Tunch's wife and Larry Bird on the cover as a
She was a
preview
cheerleader.
issue. Yes, for the
I met his
NCAA.
wife. I met
It was
Tunch's
for the
wife.
best-
Very
Well,
nice
my
lady.
good friend was his quarterback. From Monessen was his quarterback at Indiana State.
All of you know the Gradkowski family, Bruce Gradkowski,
Sure.
Bruce Sr. I grew up with him.
Yeah.
He had a brother who was a great tight end at Keystone Oaks, Mark Gradkowski. He played at Indiana State with Tunch.
Sycamores.
So I'm at a soccer game in Upper St. Clair. My son Drew was playing Tunch's son. And I said, yeah, I'm from Keystone Oaks. He goes, you know the Gradkowskis? I go, yeah, Bruce and Mark. He goes, I graduated with Mark. Can you get me his phone number? I go, all I got to do is call Bruce. I'll get you the number. From that day on, we were friends.
Hey, the first time I met Tunch, I went up to him. I'm like, hey, how's my buddy Reggie Allen doing? He's like, that was my quarterback at Indiana State. I said, I know. You know.
Small world, folks. We
Yep.
we know some people here, and we played ball,
Yep.
so we
Yep.
understand
And he
it.
was a black quarterback. Can you believe it?
No.
Back
say
in the
quarterback
seven-
or cornerback?
Back in the 70s and early
You say
80s.
quarterback or cornerback?
Well, we got another cornerback coming in now. Slay is here. Slay's here. Thanks, Smoking Jim. Always entertaining. And Smoking Jim's actually not a racist. He's a black man with opinions, and we respect him, so we'll let it carry on. If you're offended, you can contact him on his text-only phone. Chip Painter, let's go to trivia time in 10 seconds.
Okay, so everybody, I was doing some more research today because
Whoa.
I'm stuck inside, and during the down moments, I'm searching. I saw an interesting statistic that has to do with baseball. That there are only 4 players in the history of the game, okay, that have hit a home run as a teenager and after their 40th birthday.
Wow.
What a stat.
What a statistic! So one of them, I'll go by his nickname, and I'm sure Alan knows all of these. Was the Georgia Peach, Ty Cobb.
Yeah.
Ty Cobb
That's it.
hit a home run as a teenager and after his 40. The next, if I pronounce this correctly, went by his nickname was La Grande Orange.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Rusty Staub, who
in
was one of
Montreal.
the original Montreal Expos.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The next
You've
up
never heard of
was a name that you probably have all heard of, and Nick, I'm sure heard of this one, is Gary Sheffield. Gary Sheffield hit a home run as a teenager and after his 40th birthday.
I didn't know that
And
was
last
him,
but
yeah.
not least, Alex Rodriguez. For the Seattle Mariners, he hit a home run as a teenager. Hit home runs after his 40th birthday with the New York Yankees.
Ricky Henderson didn't do it?
No, Ricky.
He was a base stealer.
He was a base stealer. But I found out that there was only 4 players
That's
in over
amazing.
150 years of Major League Baseball. I found that fascinating.
Hold it. Will that record ever be broken?
I don't know. I mean, how many
could.
people coming into the game of baseball now as teenagers will
yeah.
play as a teenager
Till they're
and
40.
actually be able to play until they're 40?
Juan
I
Soto.
don't see it home.
Yeah.
Will he be around? Because
He signed a $15 million deal at the age of 27, so that's math
Yeah,
for
no,
you.
Yeah.
the
For
contract's there. But I mean, I thought, you somebody like Mike Trout, look, this guy's going to be good forever. But and all of a sudden, as he hits 30, his body's breaking down on him. So is he going to
Not
be
as bad
playing?
as
Is he going to be playing when he's? I don't think that. I think he has the ability to do it, but will his body let him? We'll see.
Interesting. Chip, that's a very good trivia thing. I like that one. That might be one of the best on Pittsburgh Sportsline.
The best this week.
We're heading to 1,000 shows, so he got one in there. We've been doing it almost 14 years now, so
I always try to find something unique.
here. Knock
There
it
you
out
go.
of the park. All right, let's go. Nick VIP Callis, 10 seconds.
Hello. Okay. Aaron Rodgers is the closest linked quarterback to the Pittsburgh Steelers right now, and I've heard some positives for bringing him onto the team. One of which is actually would be a negative for the Steelers because he could just flop, and then the Steelers are forced to make changes. But did we think about that same scenario happening with Russell Wilson as well? Absolutely we did. And guess what the Steelers did? They found a way to be just good enough, but not good in the playoffs. So this is my reasoning pretty much for why I wouldn't. Because he's old, because he seems to be injury prone at this point in his career, and because he's not going to be the quarterback that's good enough to make the Steelers win in the playoffs. And while Aaron Rodgers would be starting for the Steelers, there would be nobody young developing for the Steelers during that time, which means the Steelers are, again, losing another year of potentially developing draft picks or younger players. Like Justin Fields, who signed with the New York Jets. So maybe the Jets did that as like a revenge play. You're going to take our quarterback.
Middle of the field, Fields.
So, but I mean, I think Justin Fields still had potential to develop, and that's my whole point. Like if you sign Aaron Rodgers to a $90 million deal, which is also what I've seen, they're going to sign him for 2 years, $90 million. Those are the rumors right now. You're investing a lot of money for a guy that you can't develop. Like, he is what he is at this point in his career, and your team is what it is because you don't have any young guys. You don't have the mystery of potential with this team at this point. There's just, again, a lot of Band-Aids being put on the injury and when you need surgery. So don't sign him. That's the opinion.
I got a counter opinion. Haven't been an Aaron Rodgers fan for years, one of the greatest athletic quarterbacks that I've seen. And I call guys like that 2 cent brain because they're distracted and they think they're smarter than everybody, and they're not about the team. Guess what? He got injured on the 4th game, came back last year.
4th snap.
Yeah, 4th snap, sorry. I remember the 4. Last year, he recovered, and how many quarterbacks got almost 4,000 yards, 28 interceptions, and 28 touchdown passes and 11 interceptions.
I was going to say 28 interceptions.
Yeah.
What was his record?
No, my thing is, I believe we're a little better than the Jets. All the way from top to bottom, the whole team.
But even at that, like
now, $90 million, when they negotiate in the media, I don't believe it. If you told me it was $50 million for 2 years, I would sign him, and I draft a quarterback that you like or trade for somebody that's still young. I would do that because I would like a chance. Like I said last year with Russell Wilson, what did he throw? Like 24 touchdown passes or something like that the year before with Denver and didn't play
26,
the last.
I think it was.
Yeah, 26, and he didn't play the last 2 games. I said if he plays like that, we go to the playoffs. And he almost did.
My opinion with Aaron Rodgers, no. If he got signed by the Steelers,
yeah.
I probably, for the first time in my life, I might not watch a Steeler game. But then a part of me sits there and says, well, why not bring him on? Our offensive line is so bad, we might see him carried out on a stretcher in the first game and not have to ever see him again in a Steeler uniform.
Well, Chip, I normally have that thought, but I see, look at the center that replaced Frazier and McCormick. They did well. So now I think we got 3 good players, but Broderick Jones, love him or hate him, put him in as a left tackle, and let's see what happens. The Samoan will be in there.
I still think the Steelers are going to need a more mobile quarterback if they're going to.
Well,
because Aaron Rodgers is a statue back there.
No, I watched.
He's got no escapability.
No, I watched his games, but he did make a few runs when the line fell apart. So at 41 years old, he is a good athlete. Can he throw the ball? He'll probably throw the ball when he's 50 years old for 4,000 yards. That's what I saw him doing with half a team that we don't have. Their team was so much worse. Look at the receivers we have. Oh, we're running out. Yeah, 15 minutes.
All right.
Yeah.
I won't comment
All right.
anything else.
On location. Sorry with that discussion. Aaron Rodgers. All right, Donnybrook, Grand Hall, Priory Hotel, be there 7 o'clock. We're going to be there filming the fights. They'll be on YouTube, hopefully Facebook. Stay Joey strong.